Hey, what's up guys? Books Nelson here, back with another video, and today we will be talking about this Ignite collection and all of these wonderful Michael Jordans blocking your favorite dark matter cards. Let's get right into the content. Okay, so there are a couple of big questions we need to be answered here right off the outset, and we're going to go straight for it and look at one Mr. Boban, because Boban's speed, okay, Boban has a 78 speed and a 79 3 ball. I think that might be right on the verge of Boban being usable. Animations wise, obviously, SIG wise, we don't expect anything out of Boban from a movement standpoint. But I will say, he's got normal leaner. His shot's on very quick. We have to see how that base actually responds to the very quick upgrade. But let me say, I don't know if Boban's going to be absolutely horrible. And this is something we don't talk about a lot. I don't want to look at the game just from the perspective of super competitive players. When something is hands down one of the better things in the game, we should call it out. And when something is hands down terrible, we should call it out. But Boban is a situation, to be quite honest with you, where I think a lot of players will find some success with Boban. I think a lot of players, like your average player, might find more success with Boban than a lot of the available centers, just because he is very tall, if he can shoot. I don't know if that 78 speed gets him cooked too terribly. Now, there are other things to look at here in that regard. So the danger in Boban, really, are cards like Bill Walton. Because Bill Walton might be just fine competing with Boban, and Bill Walton is totally free, right? You can get him right now. And on the other end, you can 5 out with Bill Walton. Now, I told you guys to put handles for days on that card. But let me tell you something. When you put handles for days on Bill Walton, what a lot of people don't know is handles for days actually speeds up your dribbles as well. I don't know if it says that anywhere, but that is the other thing it does. It protects your stamina, and it also speeds up your ball handle. So does hyperdrive. So Bill Walton, with handles for days and hyperdrive, moves completely differently than without it. And Boban is almost certainly not guarding that. So if you do have Boban and you like Boban and you find success with Boban, I would just caution to have another faster center on your roster. But if Boban is going against a larger, somewhat slower center, like your Ralph Sampsons, like your Arvydas Sabonis's, right? In those scenarios, in those matchups, I think Boban might possibly be better than people think. Now, badge-wise, he has no shooting badges. Your next-gen badges aren't up yet, but still, that's not going to change much from what we see here. He has literally no shooting badges. So the issue there being you got to throw a lot of badges on Boban to make this shot much more viable. But I think at 88 mid and 79 3 ball, as long as the shot isn't fundamentally broken, he might not be terrible, to be honest with you. And some people might even like Boban. If some people said, I really like Boban, I would understand why. It's because of their play style and their matchups, and they're able to, they would be able to find success with him. Because he has a lot of good stuff going for him. 95 standing dunk, obviously fantastic size, 7'8" wingspan on top of being 7'4". Reasonable character model on top of everything else. Strength is right there, 94 strength, no problems there. The real issue being Boban is not strong on the perimeter, offensively or defensively, but he's not unusable as a shooter unless the shot is really bad. And as a defender, he is a liability in switching, and he is a liability in 5 out. But that's what Boban is. That having been said, if people aren't running, if you don't have to switch, and if people aren't attacking him, people that you're playing, because everybody's not going to attack this card when you play, right? I think when people are at the top of the matchmaking and they're constantly playing sweats, you start to think that everybody plays that way, and everybody doesn't play that way. And the more I have this channel, the more this channel grows, and the more I get feedback from people across the whole spectrum of the skill and engagement base, the more I respect everyone's experience a lot more. So that is the feedback on Boban. Coby White. Is Coby White going to be good? So this is a very important card also, because the thing that we don't want is for all of the opals to be really bad, right? And just locking in for a dark matter. So Kobe White, defensively, you're not going to expect too much from him. Although I will say, statistically, he's not awful on defense. 97 perimeter, 93 lateral. But we see that 84 strength. He can't get to 90. We've been talking about that for weeks. And his steal is actually on the low side as well with the 89 steal. Badge-wise, he looks pretty good badge-wise. I mean, he's gold in a lot of places. And again, the next-gen badges are more important on Kobe White. Because there we go. Next-gen badges are up. Okay, this is important. Does he have immovable? He does have immovable on gold. Okay. He's got immovable on gold. You throw a shoe on him, he'll be, I think, adequate defensively. He's not going to defend at the super high level, but offensively and defensively, he should be solid. Let's see what he's looking like for SIGs. So he's got his own size up, Kyrie Irving dribble style, Trey escape, absolutely great. Don't love the Devin Booker breakdown or combo moves. James Harden crossover, also not great. John Wall moving step back, fantastic, absolutely elite, as is the Chris Paul moving hesitation. Pro behind the back, we won't know exactly what that is until we see the card. But if this is one of the elite behind the backs, you're looking at a pretty solid free point guard. Now, pretty solid free point guard are words we've uttered at every single release pretty much in the past several months. Going back to the Bold collection, we've gotten a lot of pretty solid point guards. Although I will say this card is 6'5", not 6'4", not 6'3". So for, stylistically, he might suit a lot of people's needs. But Kobe White doesn't look too bad, to be quite honest with you. His own shot on very quick. I think it was on quick before. So yeah, I mean, from a SIG standpoint, I generally like the card. And attribute badge-wise, I mean, we're talking about 95 three-pointer. Everybody's in the 90s now. But it's worth noting that these are high 90s across the board. And even defensively, some of these defensive stats are pretty good. I don't think he's going to be dogged by most PGs, although I will say he will probably be on the short end of the stick against larger, more inside-focused PGs. And similar to Bojan, you might want to have one PG who can hold their own, like a Draymond, somebody like that, if you're struggling with that kind of matchup. But yeah, at a glance, I don't hate Kobe White, to be honest with you. Desmond Bane. Desmond Bane's probably the worst out of all of the cards here. We'll see as we go through this. But it's just 6'4" wingspan on 6'5" is just brutal. 6'4" is just like next level short arms. And that does hurt a card. Now, I will say, he does have a 90 strength, though. And that does somewhat make up for it. It does. It does make up for it a little bit. He's going to probably get pretty bumpy on the perimeter with that 90 strength. And I like that very much. He only has, let's see, next gen badges. He only has gold immovable as well. But he does have Hall of Fame clamps and glove and right stick ripper. So, you get to swipe him with those teeny tiny arms. He might yield some results. So Desmond Bane's shot is another one of those like snappy kind of shot put catapult shots. I don't remember disliking his shot. I did use his Ruby card for quite a while and had contemplated picking up his pink diamond before I got a better 2-guard. But let's see what else he's talking about. His own size up with Michael Jordan dribble styles, okay. Pro escape, don't love that. John Wall step back's fantastic. We got to see what behind the back he has, right? If he has an elite behind the back, he should be. Here's the thing. He's not a good card, but I don't know if I'd call him a troll card either. Obviously he's just very, very short. Wingspan. That short wingspan is brutal. He should be mid at best overall. I don't know. And so this is a good quick moment. But I'm thinking about if a card is good or bad, because I got a recent comment. I wanted to address this real quick, where somebody was talking about how I don't think this card is very good because blah, blah, blah. And I think that's a valid opinion. But the way I rate if a card is good or not is I go, if a card is worse than all of the free cards that people can get right now at the position, then it's a bad card. But if you went right now, today, not if you've been playing the game all year, if you went into the game right now today and you got all of the free cards, would this card improve that lineup? Then that makes me say, okay, this card is good or bad. Because if you would rather just go and get a free card from the playoffs or something like that, or the current free card collections. We got Spark, I think 2 and 3 or 1 and 2 are out. Then you can ignore that card entirely. But if you had all of the free cards and the card is better than all of those free cards, then I consider it a good card, right? And we were talking, I think, about Jaylen Brown, because I was saying I think Jaylen Brown's pretty good. When I say that, Jaylen Brown, in my opinion, is a better 2-guard. We'll see when we get to the dark matter. I think he's going to be a better 2-guard than what you can get on the market for your main 2 or your backup 2. I'm really looking at him compared to Chris Middleton. I'm not looking at him compared to Dr. J, even though Dr. J is in the Pro Pass. So for $10 you can get Dr. J. And if you were spending money on this game, I think that's the best money to spend, because Dr. J is truly, truly elite, but you still need a backup 2, right? So that's the way I'm looking at it. And honestly, for that matter, I think Jaylen is probably also better than most of the small forwards you can get. So running him and Dr. J is probably better than running Dr. J and the available small forwards as well. Speaking of small forwards and shooting guards, Herb Jones. So Herb Jones doesn't have a fantastic shot, but we have to see what that's like on very quick. As always, that's the main thing. Seeing some interesting things here in the 6. So he's got LeBron James dribble style. LeBron dribble style is very good. It is very similar to the pro dribble style. If you guys need a tutorial on that, maybe I'll do one when I break down the card. It'll also serve as a LeBron James dribble style tutorial. But it's basically, in certain ways, a slightly better version of the pro dribble style. I think the pro dribble style, the speed of the backwards cross is just a lot faster, a little faster, not a lot faster, just a little snappier. But LeBron's push cross is a lot less punishing. The push cross on the pro dribble style is almost like a penalty for the bad input, whereas the LeBron dribble style push cross is like somewhat usable. Kemba escape, Kobe size up, solid combos there with the LeBron dribble style. I think this card is going to move just fine. Job behind the back is terrible, though. I mean, I don't know about terrible. I got to take a look at it. I don't love that, though. Chris Paul moving step backs, absolutely elite. Pretty much as good as the John Wall. And again, I got to do a deep dive on that because it might actually be better than the John Wall. Moving spin Penny Hardaway is as good as it gets. Pro Hezzy's probably going to be just fine. He's got normal leaner, pro hop jumper. Don't love the hop jumper. Leaner's just fine. Let's look at stats and badge wise and see what he's got going on for us. Yeah, I mean, he's looking great in terms of the stats and badges. Let's go ahead and refresh this so we can see if he has immovable. Immovable enforcer, where are you? What are you? Boom, Hall of Fame. So this is what we expected with this card. So he's 6'7" with a 7-foot wingspan, which is really great dimension-wise, and he's really going to defend for you on the court. And again, I look at him in that category of like, if you have all free small forwards, is he one of the small forwards you would throw at that position? I know it's 6'10". He's like kind of at the floor of what you want to play as small forwards, but he's probably going to defend at a pretty high level, and you love that. So as a 3-and-D card who can move a little bit, he might be solid. And so I think with these opals, there's no Derek Fishers in here. Even Desmond Bane, who is terrible size dimensions. Listen, you guys can hate on Desmond Bane all you want, but I promise you, if a good player is using Desmond Bane, they can get buckets with Desmond Bane and absolutely kill you in something like triple threat or something like that. Like, I don't think Desmond Bane is bad in the sense that he's unusable. I think he's bad in the sense that if you compare him to what's available, he's not nearly as good as what's available. Going back to that situation of like, okay, well, if you get Dr. J, either from the wheel spin in the Pro Pass or the Pro Pass, if you get one of the free 2 guards, one of the many free 2 guards, you Chris Middleton, those guys, does he play? I still don't think he plays. I don't think he plays even if you only count the free cards, and that's why I consider Desmond Bane not super great. All right, and now we're going to start moving into the Dark Matters. We'll very quickly go over Dark Matter Bobby Jones here and just see what he's got going on. So 6'9", pretty good size at the small forward. We love that. 81 3-point shot. We're out of here. We are out of here. Not even going to waste time with you, Mr. Jones. Okay, so let's go from the bottom to the top with these Dark Matters. Okay, so I'm going to go with the perceived bottom to the top with the Dark Matters, right? Because we don't know if they're the true bottom to the top. But the card people hate on the most, Blake Griffin. People really don't like this card. I don't think Blake Griffin is as bad as people say he is. I don't even think Blake Griffin is bad, to be honest with you. think he's got a great player build. He's going to dunk absolutely everything. I think he's really cheesy going to the basket. And let's see what his animations are talking about. Okay, D Fox, Michael Jordan dribble style, Kemba escape. If you think this Blake Griffin card is bad, not flawed, like, because again, the jumper is not patty based with, Oscar upper, but is he bad? That just seems almost unhinged. He's got James Harden behind the back, John Wall step back, Chris Paul hezzy. This card looks absolutely freakish. This card looks fantastic. I don't know, man. I think this card looks really good outside of have to see what this jumper is like on very quick. This jumper feels good on very quick. I'm excited if I get Blake Griffin. I'm not even kidding. Blake Griffin finds a way to my team somehow, some way. He's got LeBron James layup package also, his own dunk package. But again, going to the basket in my team, Blake Griffin is just, he's just coated in oil, man. Once he starts a dunk animation, it is over. And again, a lot of people are going to love that. He's got 98 strength. Absolutely insane. Statistically, he's 99 overall. In fact, hold the phone. We almost have another hidden 100 overall card. Almost. And when I say hidden 100 overall, I mean with a shoe. Does he have all 99 stats? He doesn't have quite all 99 stats, but very, very, very close. Like if there was a such thing as a true 99 overall, this card is a true 99 overall because you can get his speed max, you can get his acceleration max. Strength only needs +1. Three-pointer is the only stat of like the major stats that's not getting all the way up there from athletically and from a shooting standpoint. Speed with ball, way up there, 97. Fantastic. 92 pass act, also great. On any build with 98 rebound, that 92 pass act absolutely cooks. Listen, we'll see what that jumper is like. But even if the jumper is not super great, I don't know if that's enough to hold Blake Griffin back from being a generally fantastic card. And we see badge-wise, extremely complete. Just throw that spot finder on him. Really weird that he didn't have two-step. That's a weird badge to not give him. I don't think it makes any bit of a difference at all whatsoever. Because you're going to be stick dunking 99.9% of the time with this card if you're trying to do anything. And when you're not stick dunking, you're probably just doing the very, very quick LeBron James layup package. I don't know if you're doing much beyond that. Although it's worth noting he does have gold float game, which will also work just fine in that LeBron James layup package. So going to the basket, Blake Griffin, he has everything you need. Defensively, he should be just fine. With that 98, 98 strength is such a good defensive stat with the speed and acceleration. And again, badge-wise, he's not missing anything. Most of these are Hall of Fame. I would definitely look at Challenger and Glove, upgrading those, Pick Dodger, upgrading that if you have the Hall of Fame badges. But if you like this card's jumper, or you even find it usable, I think he's worth these Hall of Fame badges at this current point in time, unless you are literally running one of the very, very best small forwards in the game. But does he look better than all of the available small forwards? He does to me. He does to me. Looks like a really strong card. Okay, and this is all in the context of a lot of people saying this card stinks. I don't see it. I got to see it. If the shot is that bad, I'll come on here and tell you. But right now, I don't know about that. Jaylen Brown. Okay, so this is another one because of his shot. People think he's going to be really bad. I don't think Jaylen Brown's shot is really bad. I thought his shot on normal was kind of bad. On very quick, I think it's fine. Again, is it patty with Oscar upper? No, it's not patty with Oscar and Sadiq Bey. But I do think it's a good enough shot. And with the Pro 2 leaner, I think that definitely gives him high scoring potential because leaners are super duper strong. In fact, I'm considering a Jimmy Butler tutorial, and in a Jimmy Butler breakdown, the thing about Jimmy is that leaner just feels tremendous. It feels like it has a massive green window. And I think because of the speed of his shot, that Pro 2 leaner being such a strong weapon with everything else, and we see here, he's got jaw combo moves. Not super great call. I wish this was switched. Really wish this was switched. But Kobe 6 size up with Jordan dribble style is just fine. Westbrook crossover is okay. John Wall step back, absolutely elite. We got to see what the hezzy and the behind the back are when we get the card. If he has an elite behind the back, then he's fantastic. If he doesn't have an elite behind the back, then he's pretty mid. That's how it goes for me. Because the behind the back is such a strong tool. Now, he will be able to L2 cancel and all of that stuff if you have that ability. I know most people in the community don't. But if you do, that is a dimension he can open up with that Trey escape. And the Trey escape into the Pro leaner is also going to be good. Kobe Bryant size up into the Michael Jordan dribble style will make this Pro Tool leaner, really easy to access. Let's look at his badges real quick. And this is another factor. How good is he defensively? Defensively, Hoff Immovable Enforcer, awesome. Strength is a 92. How many of these two guards that have been released have had an 84 strength or something like that? He has a 92 strength, meaning he can get over that 95 strength threshold, which is going to feel really, really good. I think strength is somewhat similar to shooting in that once you get into the upper 90s, you can feel the difference from card to card. I think the upper ratings are more important in strength than they are in other attributes, like, say, lateral quickness, right? Like, I don't know if you'll tell the difference between 92 lateral quickness and 98 lateral quickness. I don't know if you feel that on the card, all things considered. Even speed with ball, 96 speed with ball versus 93 speed with ball. I don't know if you feel that. But 96 strength versus 93 strength, I do think you feel that. I know you feel it with the three-point shot. So I don't see any glaring issues with Jaylen Brown. Default swing is just fine. He doesn't have too many dunk packages, which is also great for him. The main thing about Jaylen Brown, I would say, obviously not a truly elite jumper. And also his SIGs are it's a mixed bag. He's got some elite SIGs with Trey, John Wall, Michael Jordan dribble style, probably the third or fourth best dribble style in the game, which is pretty good. Kobe size up, not the best. Combined with the jumper that's kind of mid, I do think, to me, he looks worse than Blake Griffin at a glance here. All right, Lonzo Ball. So another card that, because of his jumper not being one of the greatest jumpers in the game, people aren't too excited about. But the thing we know about Lonzo, he's got the juice defensively. You see a Lonzo Ball card all year, and you're like, oh, man. If somebody's off-balling you with a Lonzo Ball card, he's in that group of guys that just defends above his level. If you disagree with that, let me know in the comments. But and also that Pro Tool leaner on this Lonzo Ball, oh my God. I remember when this card came out, somebody literally just doing that as if he was freaking Devin Booker. And they did not miss with this. He can shoot that thing at a high level. All right. So now SIGs-wise, Derrick Royal size up, Kyrie Irving dribble style, Trey escape, Chris Paul step back. Absolutely outstanding. If he has a great behind the back, and again, it says pro, has a bunch of elite behind the backs up here, so we'll see if this is the Jamal Murray. But if he has Murray or Halliburton, man, oh man, is this, in my opinion, a pretty good point guard. Normal two-hop jumper, massive right here. This is a massive tool to use. So quick note on the hop jumpers. A lot of people who are struggling versus the CPU, you need to get into your shot creator bag with these hop jumpers, because the CPU, and so just a quick little side sauce, and this is not something that works every single time, but it is something to make shooting over off ballers a lot easier. Once you hit turbo and start going towards the basket, the CPU starts to gap you, right? Once the CPU gaps you, you can go right into your step back if you have a good step back. So Jokic, Larry Bird, Bill Walton, Lonzo Ball, cards with these elite step backs can get into that and score over an off baller. Now, there's other ways to deal with off ball, with like pick and roll and stuff like that, and calling, cuts on the person who's off ball, and we all know about that stuff. But I'm saying 1v1, he's hiding in the corner. This is a tool that's available to you, especially at the, towards the end of games, at the end of a triple threat game. That's a sealed the deal animation right there. And I do encourage everyone to, if you're not using this already, start to use it a little bit more and just have a little bit less of a frustrating time against those off ballers. Alrighty. So his own moving crossover, Kobe breakdown. Man, we got to get the worst Kobe animations off these cards. I'm tired of these mid Kobe Bryant animations on a card. Kobe has some great animations. These are not two of them. Stop it. You can give Kobe escape to people. His escape is fine. Stop giving them this Kobe animation. Give them Kobe leaner, not his combo moves and breakdown moves. They are so not particularly useful. But with this card, the D-Rose sides up with the Kyrie Irving dribble style, Trey escape, Chris Paul step back, pretty much all you need. I'll be honest, those are so elite. Even without an elite behind the back, he's still just fine with the leaner and everything else. But if this is an elite behind the back, if this is one of the ones we really want, then yeah, I am a big fan of this Lonzo Ball card. And to be honest with you, if I got the card, he has a chance to take Oscar's spot as my backup point guard over Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I mean, not over Shea, behind Shea. Shea still starts, in my opinion, still the best point guard in the game. Alrighty. Yao Ming. Okay, so this one we look at 83 speed. Okay, so let's compare him to the other Yao. That's the main thing. What is different between him and the 100 overall? Okay, so he lost 15 speed, but at his size, 83 speed is absolutely just fine. He lost a lot of acceleration. Oh, wow, he lost a lot of strength. That is interesting. He went from a 98 shot to a 73 shot. So this is the Yao that they should have released instead of putting this guy in the packs. Obviously, this was to be very, very greedy and get everybody to pull, well, get the whales to pull packs. But this is Galaxy Opal Yao. Because that 88 strength, that's a little alarming to me. Because this card, I'm concerned about how this athleticism plays out. This is all in the 80s. Am I saying this makes the card bad? No, he's still 7'6" with a 7'9" wingspan. He's just gigantic. And with his, let's look at the rest of these stats before we even talk anymore. Okay, his block is still a 98. So that's the thing I was looking at. With an 88 vert and a 98 block, he's still going to feel pretty cheesy on the defensive end, just jumping at stuff, right? That's the thing. And for this card, I do want to see, tendency-wise, he's exactly the same as a 100 overall. All right, let's look at these badges, see how he compares. So obviously, much less of a playmaker across the board. Let's go to next gen. Okay. He doesn't have any of the speed stuff, no handles for days, so he's going to need all of that if he's going to put the ball on the floor. We haven't even looked at his animations yet, and obviously big misses here on a lot of the shooting badges. So let's look at him individually as a card. So we know now he's severely downgraded. Okay, before we look at him individually, he does have pro dribble style, which for a center, I actually like pro dribble style more than Michael Jordan dribble style, unironically. Now he does have the normal signature size up, but the Jimmy size up honestly isn't that much better than normal size up. So I will tell you this. Oh, he got a downgrade too from the Nicole. See, they know. Guys, they know. When downgrading a card, they went from the Jokic hop jumper to the Pro 2 hop jumper, right? And this is actually a pretty big nerf for this card because with the pro dribble style, going from the pro to the Nikola Jokic is outstanding, right? But he does have normal leaner. So I do think, and again, at the height of the card, once this card starts moving, to contest that jumper, you really, really got to be on him. You really got to be on him, right? He's got Shea upper, which is really easy to read. Same jump shot, right? Same jump shot motion. What else did he lose? So his breakdown moves from Luka to basic, moving crossover from Giannis to Zion. That's an interesting downgrade. Moving. So he's not going to be dribbling around the perimeter. All you're doing with this card on the perimeter is you're doing either pro dribble style into a leaner, or you're doing pro dribble style, normal size up into pro dribble style into a leaner. That's all he's got. He does have Kobe escape, which again, if you even plan on touching that Kobe escape, you absolutely have to fill some of these blank spaces on the playmaking. But because he also is missing a lot of shooting badges, you might be reluctant to do that. So let's look at the badges real quick and what he's looking for. And 70 steal is worth noting. Well, I do think with a wingspan of 7'9", this is not going to feel quite as bad as it looks on paper, just because his arms are going to be in the way. But it is a weakness, so let's not get it twisted. But it is worth noting that wingspan still does matter for steals, and so like in rec, a center with a 60 steal is going to be better than a point guard with a 60 steal in a lot of scenarios because his arms sometimes just hit the ball. Like they're getting the same animation, but his arms are just bigger, right? He has a 90 mid-range shot, which is very much worth noting because I think shooting out of the corner, this card is going to feel fairly identical to the 100 overall Yao Ming. All right, and speaking of shooting out of the corner, he has Hall of Fame corner specialist and Hall of Fame Deadeye and Hall of Fame Green Machine. And same thing for Midi Magician. So going back to what I was saying, the style with this card on the ball, pro dribble style, right into that leaning midi, and that's going to feel really, really good for one Mr. Ming Yao. So I would say badge-wise, open looks is the main one that you're looking at. Open looks and possibly guard up. I think outside of that, you can let the rest of the shooting badges go. And make sure you put the Giant Slayer on him. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. And playmaking wise, oh, whoa. Defensively, he doesn't have Challenger. So this badge is very resource hungry, and you have to be very careful about which badges you put on. So for my money, handles for days, speed booster, Challenger, Challenger clamps, fast feet, open looks, and after that, dealer's choice. After that, dealer's choice. If you have any room after that, if you have any other badges after that, dealer's choice. But I think those badges are absolutely necessary to get this card moving a lot better, and to get this to have him more reliable as a shooter, and defensively on the perimeter to not have him absolutely get cooked, because he has decent defensive stats on the perimeter, and he's 7'6" with a 7'9" wingspan. So he's there. Like, that's the thing. He doesn't have to be as fast because he's bigger. So he's there sooner because he's larger, right? So, you know, but he's still going to need these badges so that when he put his hands up, you don't get a fake contest, a non-contest. Pick dodger too, you might consider. I mean, he shouldn't be going around picks, obviously. He's too big of a player model. You want to be dropping and switching and all that stuff with this card. But, and I do actually think he's reasonably solid in the switch, but again, because of that very, very high block and that extremely high wingspan. So YAO. Is YAO a good center in the game? I think he absolutely is a good center in the game. Is he the second best center in the game behind his dark matter? I do not think so. I think the Wembys of the world are still better than this card. And I also think there might be some other cards that are really, really good athletically that people might prefer over this card. But I do still think he just barely fits the criteria for a cheesy Yao Ming card. Now, for Michael and the Jordans, I think we can go ahead and start looking at these MJs. So we'll look at all of them, but I'll be honest, my real curiosity with MJ is what do the dark matters have? Is there any difference between the dark matters? Oh yeah, we'll also look at David Robinson as well. And what are we looking at for this 100 overall? Okay, so first things first. GOAT Michael Jordan. He actually has a 94 three-point shot, which is fantastic. I'm a little surprised. Whoa. That's surprising that the 97 has a 94 three-pointer. That's actually pretty good. I think this is the best of the free ones so far. Almost feel like that's a typo. What? Thought he was going to get a much worse three-pointer. And badge-wise, extremely complete. He doesn't have a movable, actually, so he's not complete. That's what they did. They said, no immovable for you, Mr. Michael Jordan. But outside of that, looking pretty good. Animation style, he has all of his own stuff, which again, Michael has been elite as a dribbler from the very beginning of the game. And he's elite now as a dribbler. He's obviously missing a few of the key dribbles, but still, James Harden behind the back, Kembis gave his own size up with his own dribble style. Excellent, great dribble from the get-go, doesn't change now. His leaner, don't love it at all. His hop jumper, I think is okay. His leaner is usable, and his shot on very quick, again, definitely holds the card back. But as a slasher, as a defender, outside of not having a movable, he should, because he still has the stats, right? Although he does have an 84 strength. I will say though, this GOAT Michael Jordan card is significantly better than I expected him to be. All right, the one that you'll be pulling from packs and throwing into the exchange, he looks very, very similar to the one we just looked at. Does he have a movable enforcer? He does not. Okay, so in animation wise, he looks virtually identical. So what we're going to do is just very quickly, we're not going to spend too much time on Michael here. We'll look at the 97 overall in comparison and see what the difference is. No difference. They are the same exact card. Okay, so the one you pull is the same card. Yeah, I mean, Rise Up, it's a fine badge, but he's not going to be using it because he's going to be stick dunking. Agent 3, which maybe you use a little bit, is on Hall of Fame, but they're virtually identical outside of a few badge upgrades. Okay, thank you, Michael. So, GOAT Michael Jordan, Dark Matter. Is this the GOAT? Which one? Okay, which ones are which? Let's take a look here. So that's the main one, and then the rest of these are okay, cool. So this is the Michael Jordan that we will be comparing as our baseline. So first things first, I want to compare him to the 100 overall Michael Jordan, Mark Jordan. His first 100 overall is what we're going to look at and see what the differences are. So we see here, highly juiced with shot IQ. I cannot stand these stats and the way they affect overalls and intangibles. Outside of that and extremely high post hook, he is pretty much identical. You will not feel a difference between this 98 standing up at 85. Because again, if you're playing Michael Jordan and you're not going all the way to the basket and doing standing stick dunks in 99.999% of the scenarios. I look at volume of interaction as a thing. Like, how often do you do this stuff? I will say the strength from a 98 over a 90 is a pretty big upgrade. That's the largest difference between these two cards, is the strength. Outside of that, everything else is pretty identical. Obviously, the shot you can change with a shoe. Animation-wise, what's different? Kyrie Irving dribble style. That's a big one. The rest of the animations are the same. So even though that's big, essentially it's the difference between the Pro Pass Shea and the regular Shea. Both excellent cards. The regular Shea is like the second best point guard in the game, and the Pro Pass Shea is the best point guard in the game. And I know people are like, oh, what about 100 overall LeBron? I don't generally look at 100 overalls, and also I prioritize the ability to create threes from the PG position. So unless you have a whole bunch of 2s and 3s that are better at that than Shea, you should probably be running Shea. Now, if you have Dr. J and Glenn Rice, then maybe another card will be better than Shea. But on his own, I think Shea is at the top. And same thing with this Michael Jordan in terms of the differences. The Kyrie Irving dribble style versus zone dribble style. It is a big difference and it is a big advantage. I wouldn't say a big advantage. It's a notable advantage, right? But not enough of an advantage that it's like a big deal. So this is basically 100 overall Michael Jordan, as was the previous Dark Matter, right? And outside of that, yeah, nothing else has changed for Michael. So if you got 100 overall Mike or the other Dark Matter Mike, here is yet another Dark Matter Mike. So now we've gotten this card, what, 7 times now? The same card, 7, 8 times? That's, oof. I'm not here to complain, but man, this GOAT collection is such a dog idea. It's so bad. All right, so this new 100 overall Michael, let's see what's different with him. Same base. Honestly, this is all that matters. He has Steve Francis size up Kyrie Irving dribble style. Again, is this an upgrade? Yeah, sure. Fine. It's an upgrade. Is it that big of a deal? Not really. Pro 2 leaner is a big deal. Oh, actually, what is his leaner? That is important. And he's got Pro 2 leaner. So the Dark Matter having Pro 2 leaner is a big W. That definitely helps the card quite a bit. This Michael Jordan card makes him significantly better than the Galaxy Opals. Doesn't make him one of the very best 2 guards in the game, but it makes him usable. He's totally usable. And that's the thing I'll say, is because all of these are primary 2 guards, they're all usable. There's no troll Michael Jordan. There's Michael Jordans that play point guard and Michael Jordans that don't. So they're all troll by that standard. If you can't play him at point guard and you wanted to play him at point guard, then they're all troll except for, these top 3. But they can all play 2 guard, which in my opinion is his best position. Because again, according to the rules of books, he can't create 3s, so I'm not putting him at the 1, right? Shouldn't say he can't create 3s, but he's not strong at creating 3s. Not going to spend too much time on this 100 overall Michael Jordan. Same stuff, same deal, moving forward. Just a couple of SIGs that are improved. GOAT Michael Jordan. Did they change his animations? Yes, Patty Mills base with Michael Jordan upper. This guy's an absolute just demigod, right? He's got all of the stuff great about the other card with none of the weaknesses, as we expected. This is honestly disappointing to me just because we already got the flawed Michael Jordan card, right? We already got the Michael Jordan card with the slow shot that puts him behind Dr. J, Glenn Rice, Ron Artest, and all of these guys. In a new collection, there shouldn't be one super duper rare Michael Jordan card with a base change. Give the other Michael Jordans, JT Thor or Tracy McGrady. And yeah, fine, give this one Patty Mills so he's the best of the best. Patty Mills is the fastest, is the cheesiest. But the other, it shouldn't be slow compared to ultra cheesy with nothing in between. If you're going to do this, then stagger these upgrades so that we're excited about the whole collection. Because the problem is, almost no one is getting this GOAT Michael Jordan card. Literally almost no one. Even the 100 overall glow is worthless. This guy is not significantly better than these Dark Matters here. Not at all, right? And honestly, I'd rather probably play Lonzo with the 2 and and Jaylen Brown over these Michael Jordans. So maybe not. I have to compare the jumper side by side. But honestly, right now, off the top of my head, coin flip, I'm fine with playing these two cards over these cards, right? This card is the card you want, just the one. The rest of these cards are a complete waste of your time. And that's a really, really, really unfortunate way to release content. But complaint time over, back into analysis. 100 overall David Robinson. Absolutely going to be one of the very, very, very best centers in the game. And outside of Yao Ming, you could argue that he is the best center in the game. Because we all know Dave can really shoot at the very highest level. He's got 99 everything. He does still have his regular jumper. So it's weird because I guess maybe he's not a guy you could put in the GOAT collection. He's not quite in the top 5 center list. So he wouldn't be there. But Nikola Jokic top jumper, Pro 2 leaner. This guy, Steve Francis, Kyrie Irving. This guy is pretty much as good as it gets. The one thing I'll say is, even without having Patty Base or T-Mac or something like that, sorry about the noise in the background, his jumper, apparently they're living life a quarter mile out of time outside, but yeah, his jumper is totally fine for a center. He's just not going to have the super duper cheesy 7'1" Patty Base kind of stuff going on. But outside of that, the card's fantastic. Again, almost no one's going to see him. So it's flipped now, because before, and I'll close this out just by talking about this a little bit. We're done with the breakdowns, right? So for those of you who are here for that, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Okay. The thing about it was, in the old collections, let me get one of those old collections. What's the first 100 overall? Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Let's look at 100 overall Kareem, right? And he was in the All-Star special. So, oh wait, no, that's also, hold on. Let me see. Who's a good one to go to? Let's actually go to Hakeem Olajuwon, right? Let's go to his Galaxy Opal in the Maestro set. So let's look at this Maestro set, right? Before, you were locking in for all of these Opals you wanted. And mind you, there were some troll Opals in there. Sure, absolutely. But you were locking in for a bunch of good cards. And then what happened is, when the 100 overalls came in, let me look at Michael real quick. The first 100 overall Michael Jordan in the iconic set. So here you had one mid opal. All of these opals were good. And I think I said that when the cards came out, right? These guys are all great. So I still love this Jason kid. Well, I still run Wilt Chamberlain, guys. Believe it or not, I still run this Wilt, right? Clay, we talked about Clay. Penny was very, very good. So the thing about it was, not getting this Michael Jordan card wasn't that big of a deal, because it's like, okay, he's in the collection. You can ignore him. Here's what we're really getting. But now what they're doing with this GOAT collection, right, is so many of these cards stink. Not stink, obviously. They don't literally stink. He's a usable card. He's a almost perfect card with a flawed jumper, but a very flawed jumper, right? That makes him not be played over several other cards at his position. Several cards at his position he does not play over because his jumper is so weak. So now what's happened is, the card that you actually want, but we're also further in the timeline, right? We're further along. We're in June now. So now that we're in June, everybody's supposed to be starting to get access to the cheesy stuff. You should not be filling packs with mid cards that, you're filling packs with a bunch. I mean, I think the dark matters here are actually mostly pretty good. The opals, mostly mid or throwaway. I don't think any of them come anywhere near the best second or third best lineup in the game. I do think they're usable if you're just starting, right? Or if you're no money spent and you haven't gotten lucky at one of these positions, maybe one of them can, fill a gap for you. Or maybe you just prefer him over a Derek White or a Drew Holiday, just from a preference standpoint. Okay, whatever. But you have all of these dark matters that we don't want, that are blocking the dark matters that we do want. But you have a version of these dark matters that we do want, and a 100 overall that we don't want. This stinks. One thing they can do to improve this is to close, because I want to be, productive here. To improve this situation and not just complain, if a dev was listening, here's what you need to do to just not be so nasty, right? To not be trolling us with filler cards. These guys need upgrades over their previous Dark Matters, particularly with the shot bases. Patty Mills is the best base in the game. Everyone knows this, right? You guys locked this. You knew this from the beginning of the year, what you were doing. I would argue it shouldn't even be in the game because it is so far ahead of the other jumpers, but it is in the game, right? And since it's in the game, it's something that you guys can sell to us. So here's the thing. Go ahead and give your stupid, nobody's going to get them cards Patty base, right? But these cards, start giving us the Ben Shepherds, the JT Thors, and the T-Max, all right? And the Torian Princes on these cards with these rotten bases. Stop making these cards a waste of our time. Because for those of us who still want to have fun with the game, who still want to get excited on Fridays, this is just a bummer. It's just a flat out bummer and makes you not want to participate. And I know from a number standpoint, those of us that don't participate are not changing your numbers. But if you want the game to be more fun for the people that are playing it, make the gambling Dark Matters that most people probably aren't going to get anyway worth our time. All right? And on that note, I'm going to shut it down and close this out. Thank you for everybody who watched this very, very long breakdown of these cards. I think most of these cards are between mid to excellent. I mean, the cards that you're going to get are from mid to pretty good. I think this is a pretty good set because I think Blake, Lonzo, and even Jaylen Brown can upgrade a lot of people's collections. I will say, not if you have the best cards, but some people. I will say this. Somebody mentioned in my comments section, I don't know if you want your name mentioned, but shout out to you, you know who you are, that this Jaylen Brown might have less value because we very likely will probably get a playoffs Jaylen Brown at some point in the reasonable near future. That is a fair thing to bring up. You might be getting an identical Jaylen Brown for free and, by the time the playoffs are over. Now, because Boston is in the finals, that is a little while away, which might still make it useful for you to have Jaylen Brown if you like the card and hold on to him. Now, that said, I do think if you have Dr. J, Ron Artest, or one of those other super duper top cards, I still don't think Jaylen Brown plays. But if you are no money spent and you get the Jaylen Brown and you don't get the Pro Pass, so you missed on the wheel for Dr. J, I think Jaylen Brown can definitely hold it down for you next to your free Jimmy Butler, which you definitely picked because you were watching this channel and you took my recommendation. So with that said, thank you so much, guys. Please like and subscribe. Appreciate all your support. Can't tell you enough. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.